Diddy Kong Racing, a game by Rare for the Nintendo 64, and thus one of my favorite games of all time. Okay, not really, but it's definitely one that's on my radar. I played this game briefly when it was new, renting it from time to time, but never really seeing it as something I had to own. I didn't really go for multiplayer games when I was young, nobody else in my family played video games, and when I had friends over, we always found the single player way more interesting. Remember those days? When single player was the standard and multiplayer was the nice bonus? Anyways, from what I do remember of playing this game way back in the day, it wasn't like all the other racing games that I saw around me. What's this? A hub world in a racing game? What the fuck? And like a villain who's not also in a cart racing you to the finish? A racing game with a story? Or at least a version of one anyways? It's not like there's some deep multi-layered epic going on here. I mean, you could probably build a storytelling spectrum by putting Diddy Kong Racing and Malazan Book of the Fallen on opposite ends of a scale, but the very notion that this game wanted you to feel like you were on a quest or on an adventure made this game such a unique experience in terms of the kart racers of the day. Tracks and races weren't accessed through menus or flowcharts, rather through a hub world with scenery and characters to interact with. 2 characters, specifically. The game removed the need for menus and instead allowed the player to interact more deeply with the progression of the game. Progression being the key word there. See, Mario Kart always felt like such an event, a structured, pre-planned bit of sport that I was invited to participate in. A series of characters outside their normal capacities partaking in a sort of all-stars match. It's fun and good and awesome and also good, but I never felt like I was experiencing anything, only accomplishing things. This is by no means a bad thing, and in fact I didn't really know that experiencing racing games was something that I wanted until Diddy Kong Racing went all Steve Jobs on my ass. In the end, it's basically like Diddy Kong Racing just up to the ante on me, kicking me into a new kart racing bracket, if you will. This game is pretty intent on going beyond, but it's also kind of funny just how casual it is about it. Oh, what's that? Yeah, we got planes, just talk to the elephant genie and you'll get one. Oh, the game's too easy? Well, how about some coin races? Yeah, we just had those lying around anyways. Just about everything in this game is breaking some kind of mold, and yet there's nothing that feels out of place or like some kind of unfortunate overreach. I mean, by this time in gaming history, most people are content to just let a racing game be a racing game, but Rare says no, and promptly gives us all of these nice things, and 3 vehicles to experience them all in, even though the hovercraft may or may not be a theoretical physicist's worst nightmare. I'll be honest when I say that I forgot most of what Diddy Kong Racing had to offer in the broader sense. I mean, I also remember it being a lot bigger back in the day, but then again, I thought the same about my elementary school gym. But what I mean is, thinking back, I remember this game, like what I played of it, but playing it again today, in my 20s, unlocking all of the races as the game progressed, racing against the bosses and finding the keys, it brought back such a feeling of discovery, complementing the accomplishment instead of just focusing on it. One thing that totally blew my mind was how I actually kind of forgot where Dragon Forest was. Yeah, that one took a while, and it even got to the point where I almost kind of doubted its existence. But holy shit, did my brain explode when I actually did find it. I found this secret cave underneath a waterfall, and then my little icon started driving off the map, and then suddenly I was surrounded by all kinds of memories from my childhood, all rearranging themselves from that weird, scary, unsure part of my memory to the right here and now. And what hit me the most about this moment is how you can't experience this in other kart racers. Like, I've played Mario Kart and Mickey's Speedway USA and even Sonic Racing Transformed, but none of these had these. Like, you're not gonna have that thrill of the search in those games. You're not going to have to literally off-road off the map to find something special. These games don't even have a map to off-road of. These are the strokes of genius so commonplace to Rareware at the time, yet still so mind-boggling. How did they come up with this stuff all the way back then, and how has nobody come up with it since? I mean, even just thinking in terms of multiple vehicles, something that you might think would be second nature to kart racing games nowadays, but surprisingly absent. Mario Kart is the closest thing we have to a freaking kart racing dynasty, and they still haven't figured out this level of diversity. I mean, they're doing gliders and wall riding now, but seriously, only just now catching up?
And yeah, Crash Team Racing has coin races and boss races, and hey, even has a hub world, but it just seems like they gave those things to just another kart racer.
Diddy Kong Racing is the most fun I've had with a kart racer in years, aside from Sonic Racing Transformed, which, as much as it's a game I love, feels kind of small in comparison to a 17-year-old Nintendo 64 game. Everything about this game spells love and devotion, rather than other games that feel like a checklist wherein every track is referencing another game. Every character is referencing another game. Pretty much the same game in a lot of cases. New characters in a kart game? Unheard of! Who would deign to offer credence to such a bizarre and unbecoming notion of the uncouthest magnitudes? Oh, what's that?
What's that? You say Pink Old Peach is new character? And Mario Kart 8 wins with new characters?
No. And yeah, okay, Mario Kart 8 is finally breaking the mold with all the DLC and stuff, but it's all still references to other games. There is nothing wrong with that. There's always room for fan servicey goodness, but when you put it up against a game like Diddy Kong Racing, a game that created all new environments, a game that used one established character to carry a lineup of totally original and endearing personalities, I mean, hell, Banjo went on to give us the Banjo-Kazooie games, Conker was in Conker's Bad Fur Day. I mean, can you imagine if Timber had joined the 4-H Club and had his own farming simulator? Hell, Pipsy could have had her own tactics RPG, and Bumper could have had a... Whoa. Oh. Sorry, I kind of got a glimpse of what could have been just now. I mean, the seeds planted by this game gave us 3 undeniable classics with spin-offs to boot. What if things had been different moving forwards? What if this was just a vision of things yet to come, of potential never realized, poised to become a veritable pantheon of classic gaming, rather than just a fleeting glimpse before a staggeringly epic fall from grace? A company like Rare, their versatility and their attention to detail and quality, they could have pulled it off. I mean, they did make that game. And what more needs to be said about the heralds of gaming perfection? Don't worry, this is just a YouTube show, so that's pretty much just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree. In fact, I encourage it. A game so mind-bendingly good, again, just my opinion, that I fear to speak of it without trepidation. A game that I shall not name here, for we must wait for the opportune time. Which is next time. I know I was talking about it in the last video, so I figure you pretty much all know what it is, and I can't shut up about this game anyway, so I don't know.